Hello everyone, I welcome you all to our channel Let's Learn Automation. And in a previous session, we have seen the theoretical concept of object and class. And now in this program or in this session, we are going to see the implementation of class and object. We already know how to create the class. So let's see about the object too. So here I will create a new class and will name it like program2. This is our class. Now this is the class. So here, as we have already discussed, that the class contain or class is a collection of variable and method. Class is a collection of variable and method. So for example, I will take some variable like string name, then int age, then double salary. So these are the three variable I declared in a class program2. So this is what the collection of variable basically first. Then after that I will create one method like void show. Now what is the method? What are the types of method? We will see this in detail. But now let's try to understand the object and class concept. Now here this show method will just print whatever the variable or whatever the data, whatever the variable we have. Now for example CISO, this will be print like name equals to plus name, then age will be age, and finally salary will be like salary. So this is the class which contain the collection of variable and method. So these are the three variable and one method is available. Now we know how to create the object. So for creation of object, I will use the name of the class because object belong to this class. So that's why the object name will be same like a class name. So here I will use new keyword. We know we need to use the new keyword and the name of the class. And this is what the we can say that object we have already discussed in a previous session. This is object. Now Now this object need to be stored into some variable. Okay, this object need to be stored into some variable. So for that I'm using like a. A is a variable. So a is called as a reference variable or even variable. So you can see that we are getting the error over here. Like a cannot be resolved to a variable. We cannot use a variable just like this is. We need to give the some data type. So if here I got the option like create a local variable, I can directly use the data type like a program2. But here also we are getting the option create a local variable a. If I click on this, then we can see directly the name of the class appeared over here. I haven't write down this. I just select the first option whenever I mouse over on this variable. So a is a variable or reference variable, and this is what the object. Now let's try to understand this in a diagram way. So basically we have a class and this class contain like name, then age, uh, then salary, and one show method. So this is what the class, this is our class. Now we created one object a. We created one object a. From this class we created the object a. So that's why it also contain its own copy of name, its own copy of age, salary, and show method. So this object contains its own copy of name, age, and salary, that is variable and method. If I create the second or another object, and this will also came from or the instance of class, and this object, for example, B, then it also contain its own copy of name, age, salary, and show method. Okay, now this object A and this object B can have a different data. Like its name is Harry, its age is different. So like its name is Harry, its age is 25, and its salary is 50,000. Okay, and about B name we can say that object B, Ron, then its age is 24 and its salary is 40,000. So this is the different data of object B and this is the different data of object A. This is what the independent object with the independent data. There is no relation between these two objects. That's the reason we never initialize this variable into the class, because if we initialize all these variable in this class, so what happen, the same data will be shared to all the object, same data will be shared with all the object which we created. So like here we have one object. If I try to create the another object, if I try to create the another object and we'll name it like B, then the common name will be shared by A, the common name will be shared by B. But here what we are saying that A, B are the object which are the independent object and they should have the independent data. So that's why we never initialize this variable over here. Okay, and to initialize those variables we use objects. So here we can use like A dot name equal to Harry, then A dot age equal to 25. Here we can say that as this class and objects are correlated, so when I type A dot, I got the many option, and here we can say that A dot age, A dot name, A dot salary. So now it's time for salary, so I select the salary. So after A dot we got the option of all the variable, and salary I will store like 50,000.123. So in this way we can initialize the variable, and after that now the show method comes into the picture. So this show method is going to print the value of name, age, and salary. So in the same way I can call this method like object dot method, and if I try to run this, then I am getting the name, age, and salary. So this is all about the this first object. Now if I try to do the same thing with the object B, so even I can assign the different value to object B variable. So just like that, for that I need to use the object B over here. So whenever I need to store the value in object A, I use the A object, and here I need to use B dot name equal to Ron, then B dot age equal to 24, and B dot salary equal to 40,000.45. And after it, if I try to print the all the values, then I can print by using. So let's use separator by which we can easily identify the both the output. So this is what the separator, and if I execute, then I'm getting the information about Harry and about Ron. So in this way we can create the class, even we can create the multiple objects. So in this session we have seen how we can declare the variable in a class, how we can create a method, then how we can create the object and assign the values to the variable declared in a class and calling the method to print the values. Remember one thing, the program start execution from the main, so main is very much required to execute the program or to get the output. See the previous program in more detail. So to create a class and object, or to use a class and object, there are two ways. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to create the class, then declare some variable, then create a method to get the output, and after that we need to use the main method to execute all those things, or we can say that to store the data and to print that data. So main method is required. So there are two way or two pattern to write the program by using class. So here the first pattern is like main method in same class, just like we have done in this class, and main method in different class. So these are the two way by which we can create a program. So main method in the same class and main method in a different class. Main method is so much important because without main method we cannot execute our program that we already know. Now in this class we have used the main method in the same class. Let's try to understand why main method in a different class is important, or why mostly people are use the concept like this, that they use the main method in a different class. Is it really possible? So let's try to uh, create one scenario where I am creating a new class and will name it like program 3. Here I will not take the main method. So this is one class and this is another class. So this is our first class and this is the second class. Now I can use this method, or I can just cut this method and paste it over here. So what I have done, this particular program 2 class contain the variable, and there is one show method which is going to print the value of all the variable, and this program 3 class contain the main method. So we cannot run this class program 2 because it does not contain main method. If I try to right click and run this class, then I am not getting any running option because it does not contain main method. To run the class we need a main method, but if I right click on this class, then I'm getting the run as a Java application because it contains the main method. Now we can use this class to create the object. Okay, we can use this class to create the object, and this class can be used to run the program. So if I right click on this class and run as a Java application, then I will get the same output as before. There is no change. The only difference is that I just separate the main method, or I shift the main method into the another class. Now actually this particular concept is used as a standard and in many companies, and it have its own reason behind it. So let's try to understand why people are using main method outside the class. Okay, or why people are using main method differently from the class we have working on. So for that, let's see one example. So we'll close this class for now and let's try to understand this. So in a real world, in a IT company, they many people are working on a different module. So again, we will take the example of three developer. So like we have our Harry, then Ron, and Albus. So these are the three people, and now Harry is working on module 1, Ron is working on module 2, and Albus is working on module 3. So while working on module 1, Harry will create the multiple classes, or Harry may create the multiple classes like class 1, class 2, class 3. Even Ron will create the multiple classes while working on module 2 like this, and even the same will happen with the Albus 2. So it is also going to create or use the multiple classes for its creation of module 3. So these are the various classes created by each of the developer or each of the person. Now there will be a different class, and this is called as main class because it contains the main method, and these are we can say that subclasses. So if I need to execute all these classes, like if I need to execute 3 class from Harry, then 3 class from Ron, and 4 class, total 10 classes, then my main method should be present into one class. Otherwise I need to create the main method here, then here, then here. So there will be 3 different main method. Even in the case of Ron, if I try to use the main method in all the classes, there will be also 3 different main method, and here also 4 main method will be available. So I need to execute the every class separately. So this is not the best practice or good practice. So that's why there is one main class where main method is available, and now all the object of this class we can create here. Okay, means we can create all the objects in this particular main class, and from here we can execute all this project or all these classes. So that's why main method is available into the main class, we can say that, or we keep the main method separate from the other classes where we only create the objects. Here we can say that we'll create the objects of different classes and call methods to print or execute. So that's why we mostly work in an environment where main method is available into the separate class, because this main method now controls the execution of all the classes. As Harry is working on module 1, Ron is working on module 2, and Albus is working on module 3. So it is never going to happen that Harry is working on all this module 1, module 2, and class 1, class 2, and class 3. Now, if he need to execute his own work, then it will not use the main method, but he will create his main class for a temporary time, and here it will create its own method and try to run these classes from here. Because after developing the code, Harry also need to check is that code is running or not. So for a temporary reason it will create the main class for its own, and we'll see that all these classes are working properly or not. Whenever all these work properly, then he will use the main class to run his own method. In the same way, even Ron will use the its own main class for temporary reason, for temporary time, or for some moment of time. After, whenever this all the code works properly, then it will shift all the calling to this main class, even albus will do the same thing, and finally they will execute the main class, and it will this main class will control or will execute the module 1, module 2, and module 3. So this concept is used in IT, so that's why we keep the main method into a different class, and the our variable method in a different class. So this is it. Thank you.